What's up, y'all? It's your boy Brandon Doulos Garrett, and I'm back with another episode of Brandon's Book Report. We are continuing our series, The 12 Rules of Life by Dr. Jordan Peterson. And we're moving on to rule number 2, which is treat yourself like someone you're responsible for helping. Most people don't take care of themselves. They're more likely to urge a sick loved one to go to the doctor rather than themselves when they're ill. They will neglect taking their meds while finding suitable schedules to administer that medicine to their children or their pets. So after this, he goes into the overarching theme of this book, which is order and chaos. These two things encapsulate everything in our existence. Chaos is the unknown. It's unexplored territory. It's when you proceed without a goal or a destination. Chaos is when things fall apart, while order is when they come together. It's when you have a goal, an aim, or a destination. It's when the behavior of the world matches your expectations. It's when a plan or procedure solves the problem or efficiently completes the task at hand. One of my favorite stories is The Walking Dead. I really love the books, and I do like the show a lot too. But that story really encapsulates the meaning of order and chaos. You know, you have Rick Grimes and his people, and they're going through this very dangerous post-apocalyptic world that's filled with zombies and just crazy tyrants and people, you know, looking to hurt each other. When they find places to settle, like the prison or Alexandria, places that are walled off from this danger, where they can continue to grow food, or where they can hunt, where they can sleep without, keeping one eye open. This is when they find order. This is when the group is able to come together, work out, and better themselves and pull their resources together. But eventually chaos will creep in the form of the zombies, or the governor, or Negan. And these things really dismantle the order that this group tries to set for themselves by either just messing with them, hurting them, or destroying the structures that they surround themselves in that separate them from the dangers of the outside world. And I love that story because, it's true for life. It happens in such an instant in the show. One episode, they're chilling, they're laughing, they're coming together. The next episode, everyone's dying. People go missing, and that's how life is. We cannot completely get away from that danger. And your life can go so well, and in an instant, it can all change. A loved one can die. You could lose your job. Your car could break down. Your significant other can break up with you. There's so many things that can turn your life on its head, and I don't think there's any way to avoid it. So I don't think the answer is to avoid chaos. You can't live in a bubble. You see this with kids that are over-sheltered. When they are sheltered too much, they have different problems. They usually have problems of dependency, unawareness, or usefulness. They don't really quite understand the world, and anything can really take advantage of them or hurt them because they're not prepared for it. So, order and chaos is just in everything. You see it in the Tao symbol. You have the yin and the yang, and there's a thin line that separates the two. And I think that's where we need to exist. You have to learn how to have one foot firmly planted in order. That way you can step out with the other into chaos and hopefully bridge the gap and bleed the order into that chaos. And you can figure out how to navigate this crazy world that we live in. He goes into the story of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. For if you're not familiar with that story, according to the Bible, God creates the heavens and the earth. And then he creates Adam and he creates Eve. He gives them paradise. He gives them a garden and says, eat anything you want. But there's a tree, the tree of knowledge. Do not eat from this. You will die. And then a serpent creeps in and talks to Eve and tells her, why would God not want you to get this power? He doesn't want you to be like him. He starts sowing seeds of doubt. And she eventually gives in and she tries the fruit. And she gets Adam to do the same. And now all of a sudden, they are aware that they are naked. They are aware that they are vulnerable to the forces of nature, that they are weak, that they are not able to live, just soundly, that there's danger all around them. This is the very definition of being self-conscious, or at least it's the closest thing to it. When we are aware of our own vulnerabilities, we're also aware of the vulnerabilities of others. And this can lead us to help people because of their vulnerabilities or exploit them. And this is probably the most basic and barbaric concept of good and evil. The path that you can take. You can either help others or you can cause more harm and exploit them and try to come out on top with it. You know what I mean? And you have to wonder, why would God let the serpent in? And I think the serpent is in all of us. People all have a capacity for evil. You just can't completely wall it out. You can't completely shelter yourself from it. Because of this knowledge, we see the bottom of humanity in ourselves. We know our weaknesses. We know our limits. We know our sins. And I think that's why we don't value ourselves just as much. The problem with Adam and Eve isn't that they fell. It's that they were handed paradise. They didn't earn it. And then everything in the Bible that takes place after this story is man trying to right things, trying to carve order out of this chaotic world. We see in the stories different leaders emerge to try to put things back together. One of them being God in human form, named Jesus, according to the stories. We are now choosing to aim higher, to create paradise out of our own choice and free will. Our lives are intimately intertwined with others. What we do will affect somebody. Thus, we do not simply belong to ourselves. We also have a spark of the divine within us. We are so much more. We are thoughts. We are emotions. We are creative aspects. We are passions. We are made in the image of God. We aren't exactly gods ourselves, but we are not nothing either. To treat yourself as someone you're responsible for helping is to do what is good for you, not what you want. Feeding a child candy makes them happy, but it's not good for them to only eat candy. If you know the why, you can bear the how. Figure out your vision and the directions you want your life to go. You can steer your life towards heaven and away from hell. And you can also inspire others to do the same. When you go through hell and understand what it is, you can decide to go somewhere else. You don't have to settle for less anymore. You can give your life meaning. And you can treat yourself as if you're someone you're responsible for helping. Thank you guys for listening. I'm Brandon Doulos Garrett, and this was another episode of Brandon's Book Report. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube under Brandon Doulos Garrett. And I will see you next time. Thank you.